Welcome to the day 3 on Python programming. So in today's session, we will see about the conditional statements, loops and loop control statements used in Python programming. Okay. So what are conditional statements? So conditional statements usually it will represent the if condition, if else condition. So you might have heard of even when you studied C or C++, you might have come across these words. So if else, that means elif. Here in Python, it is represented as elif and else condition. So these three statements are called as a conditional statements. Uh, they will act as a decision making statements in Python programs based on the specific conditions. So the syntax for these words are if, elif, and else. So if will work for true condition. If will give the output only if the condition is true. Otherwise, we have to check for another true condition using elif. And if both the conditions are not satisfied, the block will move to the else condition, where if both the conditions are not true. That means in that case, else condition will execute and provide the output for us. So the syntax will be like if condition followed by a colon. All the if, elif, and else conditional statements should end with a colon followed by the indented condition. So the code block for true condition should be indented. So only then it is identified as a code block for if code. Then followed by elif, you have to give the another condition completed with a colon. Then next line, indented code block for another true condition. If both the conditions are not true, then the block will move to the else condition. So else colon, it will automatically print the remaining output. So here the condition is evaluated in terms of a Boolean method. So true or false method. So if the condition is true, it will get executed. If it is false, it will move to the another condition. So indentation here, this it is required to indicate the code block. This indentation is used to indicate the code block under each condition. So this is the syntax for the conditional statements. So conditional statements means if, elif, and else statement. So example. So we'll see an example for conditional statement. So check if a number is positive, negative, or zero. So you have to check a number is positive, negative, or zero. So for that, you have to get the input of that particular number. So num is equal to int input, because only you can verify this condition only if the input is an integer. So we are getting the input in terms of a integer. So int input of enter a number. So once after this step, we will receive a number. So we have to check the condition. So if that particular number is greater than 0, print the number is positive. Elif it is less than 0, print the number is negative. Else print the number is 0. So first, suppose I'm giving a number as 5. So it will check if the number is greater than 0. So 5 is greater than 0. This condition is true. That means this sentence will be printed. The number is positive. This will be printed since the first condition is true. Then it will check for remaining two conditions, that will go false. So only this will be obtained as a result. Suppose if I am giving as -2, so -2 greater than 0, this statement, this code block will become false. So that means here it will go to the next condition. So it will check for this condition. If number is less than 0, that is -2 less than 0. So this condition comes true. So this statement will be printed. The number is negative. It will not go for the remaining statement. So this is the second case. And third case is 0. So if I am giving the number as 0, so this will check the first condition, 0 greater than 0, false. Then it will go to the next block. 0 less than 0, that is also false. It will go to the next block. Else. So if these two statements are not true, automatically this will be printed. So the number is 0. This statement is false and this statement is also false. So automatically this statement will be printed as the output. So this is one example for conditional statement. And example number 2 is grade evaluation. So usually we have a grade system. So if the score is greater than or equal to 90, A grade, 80 means B grade, 70 C grade, else print as F. So you have to get the score as an integer input. So after getting the score, it will check these conditions. If the this condition is true, it will stop here. If this condition is true, it will stop here. If this condition is true, it will stop here in grade C. If all the three conditions are false, it will directly go to the else statement and that will be executed. So we can see the working of this program here in a Python editor. I'm getting the mark equal to integer input of enter the mark. So next, the conditional statement has to be executed. If mark greater than or equal to 90, put a colon. So automatically the indentation will appear. So if mark is greater than or equal to 90, print the grade is A. Okay. Then LF mark is greater than or equal to 80, print the grade is B, else I'm ending up with only two conditions, else print the grade is C. So now let me execute the program. So here I have missed out a column. So in else also you have to include a column there. Run. So enter the mark. I'm giving it as 95. Grade is A. Again, run the program. 56. Grade is C. And 85. The grade is B. So in this way, the if else statement are executed. So initially when I give 95, the first statement becomes true. So the execution will stop here and it resulted the output as the grade is A. And in the second condition, the mark is 56. So here this condition will become false and this condition also will become false and automatically the output will go to the else code block. So they gave the output as the grade is C. And in the third condition, 85. So this statement is false and this statement is true. So here the output is the grade is B. So in this way, conditional statement is executed. Best practice for conditional statement. So for executing the conditional statements in a proper way, you have to always ensure the correct indentation. Check for the indentation and avoid overly nested if statement. So don't include more number of if code blocks. Okay, that is called as a nested if. So inside a if, another if statements will get nested. So avoid those kind of nested if statements and also combine the condition using logical operators. So you can use and or not operator. So suppose when you have two conditions to verify, you can include the and or operator. So these steps will make you to execute the conditional statements in a better way. Okay, so these are some of the best practices. And next thing is loops. So loops. Next topic is loops. Loops will include for and while loop. So you have already worked with it. So for loop and while loop. So for loop will is used for iterations. If you want to execute so many times that is given a particular of times, the sequence has to be uh, iterated means you can use the for loop, and while loop is used when the condition becomes until when the condition becomes false. So while loop is executed only when the condition is true. Once it becomes false, the while loop will stop its execution. So these are the two loops that can be used. So for loop is used to iterate over a sequence. This sequence may be a list, string, or a range of integers. So for these kind of data types, we can use the for loop. So the syntax will be like this: for the condition, the iteration or variable in sequence ended with the colon, and then with indentation, the code block will be followed. So this is the syntax for the for loop. And here are some examples for the iteration. So here, so first iterate over a range of numbers. If you want to execute a range of numbers, you can give like this: for I in range 1 comma 6 print I. So that for initially I will be equal to 1. So I is in range 1 to 6. So 1 will be printed, and iteration means I plus plus, that is it goes to the next number, that is 2. So this is also in range 1 comma 6, print 2. So up to 6 it will get printed. So we will check it in Python. I'm just copying the program. Here you can paste and run. Okay, so here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 to 6 means it will stop before 6. So n minus 1. So always in Python it will represent the n minus 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these numbers will get printed. And next is iterate over a string. So here we have seen iteration over a number, here iteration over a string. So we can see how for loop gets iterated over a string. So you can see here Python. So word is given as an input. Python for each character in word print character. So it will print the character one by one. So as a result, we have got this one Python. For each and every iteration, each and every character is executed and printed. The next is calculate the sum of first n numbers. So now first n numbers, the n number can be 10, 20 or even 100. So it will calculate the sum of first n numbers. So we will now write a program to calculate the sum of n numbers. So first we'll define what is n. So in n is an integer. So n int input of enter a number. Suppose if the number is 10, it will calculate the sum of 10 numbers. First 10 numbers. So then I'm initializing from 0. So total is equal to 0 for I in range. So range always should be 1 comma n plus 1. Suppose if n is 10, we have to give it as 11 so that it will stop up to 10. So for that I'm defining the range from 1 to n plus 1. So end up with a colon, then have a indented block. Total is equal to total plus 1. So this can be replaced in Python as total is equal to total plus equal to. It's not 1, it is I. Total plus equal to I. So that for each and every iteration, this I value will be getting added to the previous total. So this in Python, you can use like this: total plus equal to I, print f the sum of. So we have defined as n numbers is what variable we have stored is total. Okay, so total. So this will count the sum of n numbers. So now run the program. Enter a number. For simplicity, I'm giving 10. So the sum of 10 numbers is 55. You can also have a larger number also. So in this way, for loop will get executed. Next is a while loop. So as I told before, while loop run as long as a condition is true. So while loop executes only if the condition is true. If the condition become false, the loop will stop its execution. So here the syntax is while followed by the condition colon then indented code block. So if this condition is true, while loop will execute, otherwise this will come out of the conditional loop. So some examples are given. So print numbers from 1 to 5. So we are printing the number. So count is equal to 1. It starts from 1. While count is less than or equal to 5, print count. So it will print only up to 5. So if this condition becomes false, that is if the count goes beyond 5, this becomes false and the loop will stop. The execution will stop. So this is printing numbers, and Second example is ask for user input until a valid number is entered. So you can try this program. So for simplicity, we will try a simple count program. Count equal to 1 while count less than or equal to 5. Indentation. Before that, have a colon here. Then indented block. Print count. Count less or equal to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So count starts from 1, and if the count is less than or equal to 5, it will print. It will add 1 to the previous count value, and only if this value is less than or equal to 5, this will get printed, and if this condition goes false, the execution will stop. Similarly, we will ask for user input till a valid number is entered. The next program is to ask for a user input until a valid number is entered. So here, while true, while true, try num is equal to int input of enter a number break. So here try is a condition that is used in the while loop to try the condition. So if this condition is satisfied, the loop will break. Otherwise, so otherwise is meant as except value error. Except value error. So this is a command print invalid input. Please enter a number. So this is a while condition. So if this condition is true, that means if it is an integer, it will print the number and break the loop. Otherwise, it will ask for invalid input and please enter a number. So we'll try. So it is asking enter a number. I'm entering a letter. So the output is invalid input. Please enter a number, and the loop is executed again. Okay. So now I'm printing as df. Again, it is asking for a number. So now I'm printing a number. The loop will get break. So this is how the while loop will execute. Next topic is loop control statements. So there are some statements that are some commands that are used to used as a loop control statements. Okay, so one is a break statement, another one is a continue statement. So break statement will exit the loop immediately if that condition is satisfied. That will exit the loop immediately. And next is continue statement. So continue statement, it skips the current iteration and continues with the next one. So if we provide a continue statement, that statement will skip the current iteration and it will continue with the next iteration. So these are the two statements that are called as a loop control statement. So here example is provided. So exit when the sum exceeds 50. So we are having a sum of numbers. So it will start initially from 0. 0 is stored in a variable called total. For I in range 1 comma 11, that means it will check up to 10. So for I in range 1 comma 11, total will be get added with the iteration I. If this total is greater than 50, the loop will break. So break, and the statement will be loop exited current total is. So total will be obtained. So we'll check for this program. So here total is equal to 0. So and some condition is given. If total is greater than 50, the loop will break and it will give the result as loop exited. Now we'll check. So loop exited, current total is 55. So as we seen in the previous this program, the sum of 10 numbers is 55. So since the range is 1 to 10, it falls greater than 55. So if it is greater than 55, the loop will get break and it will give the output like this. So suppose after execution of these steps, the loop will get break and it will result the output as loop exited and current total is the particular value it will show for any number of range. And next one is a continue statement. So here as given in the definition, it will skip the current iteration and continue with the next one. For example, program is given for skipping even numbers in a range. To skip the even numbers, we can give this condition. The modulo is equal to 0 means it is a even number. Then if we give the continue, it will skip all the even numbers and it will print the odd numbers. So that we will check the continue condition. So for I in range 1 to 25, if I modulo 2 equal to 0, continue. Continue means it will skip the even number, then it will proceed with the next print I. I can see here 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23. So before 25, the last odd number is 23. So all the odd numbers are printed and all the even numbers are skipped because under the even number, we had included a continue condition. So it skipped all the even numbers and only the odd numbers are being printed. So with this, the loop conditional statement, loops and loop controls statements are understood with some example programs. So the task for the above concepts are given here. So write a program to determine if a number is even or odd. So you can use the same formula, that is a number modulo 2 is equal to 0 means even, otherwise odd. So this concept you can include in a if statement, and also use a for loop to calculate the factorial of a given number and Fibonacci series, and terminate the loop if the user inputs exit using break. So if you input a break statement, the loop have to terminate. So write program for all these concepts for your practice. And that's the end of the session today. Thank you.